So this day, um, it was the afternoon shift, so I was working 2 to 10, and I was coming in right around 1:35, and I always got to work early. I was always 15 minutes at my post, 15 minutes early, just to get debriefed from the officers, uh, how the day went. And normally, I came through the gate and I felt something already. Normally, I'm hearing inmates like they're on the yard because they have yard out at that time. So you can hear them if they're playing their basketball, yelling and screaming at each other, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, I started feeling like something was up. And maybe, hey, um, they something's going on the yard because right now I can't see the yard because there's a large concrete wall in the way, and the gunner was staring. Looked up at the gunner, and he was staring at the yard. So I knew something was up. And he saw me out of the corner of his eye. He said, "Come on." He's like, and he pushed the button, and the door slides open like Star Trek. And then you just go through there, and I'm like, okay, I got to get to my building now. So I go to the sergeant's office. I'm signing in, and the sergeant told me that it's about to go down on the yard over there. Just be careful going to your unit. And I said, okay, no problem. My spidey senses were through the roof. Uh, I can feel tightness in my stomach and that eerie time to get busy mode. It's eerie quiet, and it's very spooky. And have you ever heard of the pucker factor? It's when you're squeezing your cheeks together because something's about to happen. So we call it the pucker factor. Then the gunner has to let me into that yard to get to my building. So immediately when he is opening the gate, I can see 30 yards in front of me a line of Bloods, and they were in like uh, formation in a line, formation in a line, Bloods, and then you had the Crips on the other side in formation, staring each other down. The white inmates were over on the wall, just out of the way. The Mexicans were over on the pull-up bars and that area, and they were staying the hell away from that line. And you can hear your heartbeat. And it was very eye-opening, and you're just on pins and needles waiting for something to happen. My name is Jacob Zipperlen. I was a sergeant at San Quentin State Prison for 15 years, and I was an officer for 13 years. Total of 28 years I worked in the Department of Corrections. I've seen many things and witnessed horrific accounts of things that your normal everyday job that ain't going to give you. You're not going to see someone get stabbed to death. You're not going to see someone hanging from a cell door because they don't want to live no more. Deader than doornail. Graveyard dead, you know. You're not going to see a pale person that their blood has been drained out of their body because they just got stabbed 64 times. It's a dark place. It's a tragic place. People who been through hell in their life and ended up in prison. Straight killers, serial killers, gangsters, and they're just like you and me. They're people. But they've done some very bad things. You walk amongst the inmates. You walk amongst the clients of California's correctional system. And you're tasked to deal with those individuals. Get them to chow on time. Get them to work on time. Get them to chow. Get them to work. Lock them back up, count them. But while you're doing all that, what do you think's happening? You're mingling with them. They're talking to you. Maybe they're a little crazy, and they don't like you. Hell, most of them don't like you. But you become their protector, in a sense. You're the one that lets them out. You're the one to make sure it's safe for them to enter the chow hall. I could describe it really quickly. You're a human being and you're walking into the unknown. And there's two gates. And there's a man there or a woman. And they open the door for you and you show them your ID. Then there's two more gates you got to pass through. So the control booth officer opens one gate. You walk in. 10 more people walk in behind you. They slam the gate shut. Then the other one opens. And you're on your way. You made it, man. You made it inside. Now what? You open their big iron door. I'm describing the sallyport to San Quentin State Prison. There's a big iron door there. After you get out of the sallyport, there's an iron door. It's medieval times, man. And I made a pause right there because I wanted to feel my body, and I can hear my heartbeat pounding. I open up those doors, man. That big iron door. Whoop. Step onto the courtyard of San Quentin State Prison. And immediately, your body is in alertness. Extraordinary alertness, not just alertness. But you immediately are aware of everything. And that's your life for the remainder of your career. That's what you're going to feel every day you come in through that gate. And every day you leave that gate. You open that iron door, and oh my God, I'm getting through the sallyport right now, and then I'm going to go home. I'm going to go see my family. I'm going to see my girlfriend. I'm going to go to the gym, whatever. I just spent 8 hours here dealing with whatever you dealt with during the day. I had to get to my building because I had to get so I went around to one side and went inside my building, got my equipment from the gunner upstairs, and then immediately went to the yard. And at that time, I was looking for where all the other officers were, and then I got to where all the other officers were, By the time I got to where the other officers were, it was like watching, I don't know, Battle of the Bastards from Game of Thrones, where Jon Snow comes out in the middle of those two guys, of those two regiments facing off against each other. But instead of the other guy coming in, or the other guy staying back, he came in and the two heads met and they were having a discussion. And at that time, the gunner yells for the yard to get down because we wanted to get it over before any violence happened. The object was to get them down on the ground, and then we can start recalling the yard and probably searching those guys for contraband. But what really happened once he said get down, the inmates didn't get down. My heart went down in my stomach, and these guys went at each other like gladiators. It was just like coming together, and they were just in this big brawl. Over 100 inmates, probably 120 inmates. And all the rest of the inmates were staying back. And the officers formed a scrimmage line. We called the code 3 over the radio. And basically we just stood there in a scrimmage line trying to quell the violence and waiting for our code 2 responders to get there to give us more men on duty. And at that point, we only had maybe eight officers on the ground. And I remember just total chaos for a good 30 seconds. The inmates were just going at it for a good 30 seconds. And then the gunner finally fired a round, Mini 14 round into the building, the gym upper building, and one on the actual ground. And that's when the inmates got down. But during those 30 seconds, a lot happened. There was a lot of stabbings, a lot of slashings. What do you think happens to the human body when it's under stress? What hormone do you think becomes the most prevalent in your body? Cortisol. And what's cortisol do? It turns up your hunger hormones, and it's going to make you eat, and it's going to make you anxious. I survived 28 years in the Department of Corrections. I survived atrial fibrillation of the heart due to massive amounts of stress during my career. I survived a heart attack in 2020 due to massive stress during my career. And what's it do to you over those 28, for me, over those 28 years? It changed me. It made my whole psyche, my whole outlook on life, outlook on human beings, very judgmental. I was so super judgmental when I first got out, I remember. And I was always looking over my shoulder, and I didn't even know people. And I would look at them going, oh, and I already had a judgment about them. I didn't want to talk to people. I started hiding from people. I didn't want to talk to them. That's what Department of Corrections did to you. That's what stress did to me. I know that it's changed me from the time when I first got into the department till now that I'm retired and had a few years in retirement. I see what it's done to me. I've seen my relaxed state and my health get so much better since I retired. When you look to your left, you'll see a monument. To all the staff that didn't make it back out the gate the next day. to all the staff, a monument, a headstone with their name on it, and the date of their end of watch. They entered the gates that day as a servant of the state, coming in to do their job. But they never left. One of them made it out the gate, but he didn't survive. He was a super close friend of mine. 2020, he caught COVID on a transport, bringing an inmate to an outside hospital that was infested with the disease. He got it. He went on a ventilator, and that was it. He never woke up. He never came back to us. The incident was down. We had Code 2 responders and Code 3 responders. So we had over 40 officers on the yard at that point, once the yard got down. And all the inmates were proned out. And now it's time to process all that. So it isn't just like, okay, let everybody get up, go over to the corner. It's like we're processing and triaging, trying to get the injured inmates out of there and to medical. And I got tasked to take this one inmate to medical, and he had been, I looked at him, we put the handcuffs on him, and my officer, my partner put the handcuffs. I was standing over him with the pepper spray and making sure that he didn't do something stupid. But when he turned him around and got him up on his feet, I can see that he had been sliced from here all the way down his under. Matter of fact, like just across his breast and down here like that. And when they slashed him with a razor that was attached to a toothbrush. So they melted the end of the razor into the toothbrush, and then they sliced him wide open, flayed, and you can also see that his skin was flayed open right here, and you can see the muscles inside his chest, along with inside of his throat. I can see it was flayed apart, and I can see when he talked, the vocal cords were moving. And I finally told him, I said, look, just don't talk, okay? Don't talk. Let the doctor do his job. I know you're all, just sit there and relax and let the doctor stitch you up. He was in shock, come on, man. He just got, he's lucky he's still alive. He knows that. He went through hell at that point when he was on the yard for those 30 seconds, I'm sure he was fighting off a couple guys, and he survived it. So he was just talking a mile a minute, and he was in that mode when, after an incident, a lot of inmates get fight or flight, so their adrenaline is through the roof, and sometimes it comes out with their mouth. That was a good 14-hour day for me. I got on duty and didn't get home till about 3 in the morning. I remember my last day walking out the gate, and there was this huge weight just falling off of me. I made it. I made my 28 years. I'm retiring now. The big iron gate. I came to it. I opened it. I felt a huge relief. The big iron gate to the medieval castle, which is San Quentin State Prison. So I left, and I took 2 years until I actually came back to visit my people, to go and see Sergeant Polanco's gravesite, his stone, his monument. I remember going to the gate. I talked to the watch commander, and I said, "Hey, can I come in? I just want to say hi to Polanco, pay my respects, and see a couple people, and then I'll be out." And then, yeah, I signed a visitor form, put a little visitor badge on me for the very first time, and I showed my ID, my retirement. I was real proud. "Hey, buddy, I'm retired now. I need to go in and see somebody." So I started walking up to the first Sallyport gate. And I'm thinking, wow. My heart started pounding. I heard the buzz of the door opening. Reached over to grab it. Opened it, went inside. There was 2 other people behind me. They shut it behind them. I heard the slam. Bam. And I thought to myself, I felt my body change. I felt the alertness, the adrenaline, the burst of, I could feel my body changing again. Then I heard the door pop open, the next one. I pushed it open. And I go, wow, I don't know if I want to go in here. I don't like this feeling. Then I saw the iron gate. And something told me, you just got to open it and get on in there. So I open it up, look around. Inmates all over the place, walking back and forth. My body just, all of a sudden, just tensed. In my heart, I can hear in my ear pounding. Then I walked in. Visited Polanco's gravesite, not his gravesite, but his stone, his monument. Said a prayer and went to Forepost and visited with the officers there. Went on the upper yard where West Block was and South Block, and talked to the officers in Yard 9, which is the post there. Then I said, that's far enough. And I told myself, wow, I survived this fucking place. What the hell am I doing back here? So I knew at that point I'm never coming back there again. But the way I was feeling inside made me realize how much my retirement means to me, because I made it through all that. I don't have to stress my body out every day going through them gates, going in, dealing with inmates, staff, whatever happens during the day.